Welcome to another edition of Winners Get Money. This is episode number 7, season 2, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. You joined us last week. We had a very good week. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about Tennessee beating Bama, Georgia beating Texas, talk about our best bets, how we did last week, and then we're going to jump NFL. Obviously, you guys know the routine. We're going to recap our best bets. We'll jump into what we like this week as well. It's already halfway through the season, man. It's crazy. Again, I'm James Myers, my boy David Rahanos. Say what up, David.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, let's get it started. We're not going to mess around here. We had college football week 8. We had some great matchups, man. We had Tennessee beating Alabama, which I was on. I had that game. Georgia beating Texas, and then Indiana smoking Nebraska. And they have a chance to go undefeated and possibly to the playoff. Your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good weekend for college football for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, Tennessee beating Bama. Bama, I mean, Tennessee probably should have won that game by a little bit more in the first half. All those there's turnovers and just mistakes. But yeah, the game kind of played out how we expected. We actually went on. We actually thought there'd be a lot of points in the game. Game did kind of
Mm-hmm.
speed up second half. First half a little slow, but like I said, it's mostly because of the mistakes on Tennessee side. They probably left 14, 17 points, I think, on the
Dude,
field. So
that dude missed some
uh,
throws.
yeah, yeah. So that, I mean, still overall good game. Georgia, Texas. Yeah, I mean, is Georgia? I mean, Georgia just kind of showed who they are for sure. And Texas, it's like, are they a little bit fraudulent? Like a lot of people were pretty much writing them in the national championship. Before the last week. So just interesting result there for sure.
Yeah, we talked about. I think me and you were talking about it because we got together for the games, and I think I didn't realize, man, Texas has played really nobody, and then more and more, we were talking about it, and I go, is that Michigan win looks worse and worse every week? Because remember that week, what was it, like week 3, week 4 maybe, and they just beat the brakes off them at Michigan. Everyone was like, whoa, who's this Texas team? They're unreal. Like they're obviously the solidified number one. Now it looks worse and worse because Michigan's at losing every week. They just got steamrolled by Illinois. So it's kind of interesting. This playoff, to say the least, this playoff's probably wide open right now. It's wide open. If I had to guess, betting man, gun to my head, I'm actually taking Ohio State to win the whole thing. I still like Ohio State. That's me. But yeah, do you have anyone in your mind if you had to pick right now?
Pick right now. I mean, it's going to be between obviously Georgia, Oregon, and Ohio State. If I
Yeah.
had to pick right now, I'll probably think Georgia just because
Yeah.
they're kind of used to being there, and I mean, people probably want to see something different. That's why this college football playoff got expanded. But
And then we'll just smack everyone. Yeah.
yeah, I mean Oregon, they've been looking good after a little bit of a slow start. So they have a pretty tough schedule still, kind of going through the Big Ten. But yeah, I mean people might have to watch out for them, or maybe it'll end up being a rematch between uh, it could be possible, right? Oregon and Ohio State in the
Yeah, of
championship.
course. Yeah, absolutely.
Just the way
See
everything
if
kind of
seeding works out.
seeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, who knows?
Sweet. Yeah, we'll jump in real quick. We'll make it quick on recap best bets for college. I went 2-1. We won. We had a lot of similar plays this week in NFL and college. We both won on Illinois plus 3.5. I lost on Louisville plus 5, and then Tennessee plus 3 was a win for me. So I went 2-1. If you want to read yours off real quick, you went 3-0, man.
Yeah, I
Nice.
went 3-0. Yeah, about time. But yeah, South Carolina money line. They went into OU and just took care of business. Illinois, kind of how you mentioned earlier, and then Colorado.
Yeah,
Yeah, they took care of business as well against
no doubter.
a struggling Arizona team. So yeah, a good 3-0. Hopefully, we'll have another undefeated week. And overall on the year for college, I
Hmm.
am 9-8, so
Yeah,
over 500. So we'll
let's
we'll look to
go.
keep that going.
Yeah, I'm 9-6. You've had more plays than me though, so I'll give you the benefit on that one. Let's jump into best bets. Week 9, man. Already week 9.
Yeah,
Crazy. Remember when we first started, beginning of the season, we were so pumped. Now it's already week 9. Real quick, couple games to keep in note. LSU versus A&M, probably the best game of the weekend, at least matchup wise. Notre Dame versus Navy. Notre Dame's laying 14, but Navy's top 25 now, and they're undefeated. It's crazy. So I hope Navy gives them a game. Anyways, let's jump into our best bets. I'll start us off. Let's go. My best bet of the weekend, college football rivalry game. I'm gonna go. Yes, it's a little gross. I'm gonna go Kansas plus 10 at K-State. You're on this game as well, but I don't think it's your best bet. But I believe, yeah, I'm gonna go Kansas plus 10 here. We talked about the schedule offline before the show. Kansas has been in just about every single game this year. This team could easily be maybe 5-2, 4-3 at worst. They've lost a lot of heartbreakers. I had them a few weeks ago against West Virginia. Lost probably most likely because of that stupid lightning delay. They were up by 2 touchdowns and lost in the last second. They lost to Illinois by 6. They've kept every game close. I don't think Kansas State's is as such a powerhouse as everyone thinks. Kansas got Jaden. They still got Jaden Daniels. They still got the offense. They just got a nice win against Houston last week. Big win. And I think they keep it within 10. I think they keep it within the number. I think they keep this close in a rivalry game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I have this as a play as well. Yeah, kind of for everything that you said. Scheduling. Uh, a lot of these Kansas games kind of came down to coin flips. So maybe you flip a coin and just like that, instead of being what are they 2-5 right now, they could be 5-2. 4-3 at worst. So, the record is probably a little bit misleading to the kind of team they are. And
Mhm.
like we said, it's just like it's a rivalry game. Like they're gonna be ready for this game. Even if they hadn't won a game yet. It's one of those games you kind of circle on the calendar. It's like, all right, this is our chance. So I think 10 points is a little bit too much here. I think the market's kind of favoring Kansas State a little bit too much. I'm on the same board as you, where I don't think Kansas State's maybe as good as the record might show. So yeah, I just think rivalry game. I think Kansas for here for sure is to keep it within 10. I think it's a good play.
Yeah. Kansas State, yeah, I mean they're 6-1, so we'll see. When they actually did play, they got a big win against Colorado, and then the best team they played on their schedule, they got smoked 38-9 by BYU, if people remember that game. But yeah, we're gonna go with Kansas plus 10 here. Your next play, your play.
Yeah, yeah. So my best bet of the week is UCF minus 2.5 at home against BYU. Kind of if we remember last week, it was a Friday night game. BYU kind of I wouldn't say miracle comeback with victory, but they for sure had a little bit of help and a little
Yeah.
bit of luck. Um, yeah, I know they're undefeated and ranked 11th in the nation, but kind of just thinking about, I think they might be a little, a little maybe not overrated, but a little overhyped.
Mhm.
They're undefeated. You can't take that away from them, but I don't know, just think about BYU. I just feel like they should have like maybe like 2 losses on their schedule, and UCF on their side they have kind of underperformed. I guess probably the biggest memory that a lot of people think about is that Colorado game where Colorado just smoked them, boat raced them. Um, a couple weeks back, but I'm looking for here to have a UCF have a little bit better effort. At home, like if they want to make a bowl game, like this is probably the one of the games they have to have for sure. So you have that for UCF, and then they have a pretty good home field advantage too. They call
Yeah.
their stadium the bounce house because just a bunch of bleachers going around. So you'll for sure get a good crowd out there. And yeah, I just feel like it's one of those games that BYU will have a little hiccup. People kind of thought they should have had that hiccup against Baylor at Baylor earlier this year. They came out and won. We could talk about last week again if you want, but yeah, I just think based off the line too, is you have a unranked team, 2.5 point favorites at home. It just kind of screams to take that team. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably my best bet for the week.
Yeah, this is definitely a team in UCF that loves to run the football. They don't do a lot of like they will pass, but they are big running the football. They actually, I mean, they only lost by 3 to Iowa State at Iowa State. They switched quarterbacks, I believe. They got rid of KJ Jefferson from Arkansas and they went to this guy named Ja'Kurrie Brown. Not a really good performance, but I think they'll be able to run the football against BYU and control the clock. And like you said, this line just screams to take UCF here. BYU's been kind of skating by these last few games, like you mentioned with Oklahoma State. They also, I believe, there's a couple other games they barely just held on. Baylor barely won. SMU barely won. They won by 3. It's just I think it's a matter of time until they lose. And I think a lot of like the books are saying they're probably going to lose. This is their game to lose. So BYU's not going undefeated. I'll guarantee that. So this, yeah, I'm on it with you. UCF minus 2.5 as well for me. All right. So UCF minus 2.5. My last and final play for college football week 9 is going to be the best game of the weekend on paper. I'm going to go with the under, though. I know it sucks, prime time. Under 54.5, Texas A&M LSU. Again, we talked about this early in the season. These A&M games at home in prime time, these games seem to just hit unders all the time. I think this is going to be a slow-paced, just grinded out game, and whoever gets out with the win, maybe a last-second field goal. I like Texas A&M with the way they switched their quarterbacks, but A&M's got a legit defense. I've watched them, and LSU. I think LSU's defense is kind of underrated a little bit. It's been humming these past couple weeks. I think they keep it close as well. I think it'll be a grinded out game and a big game. I mean, I think what is A&M? Are they do they have two losses or one losses? One
I
loss.
think it's just Notre Dame.
Yes, so this is huge. LSU's got one loss, A&M's got one loss. I think this will be a tight game, prime time, lots on the line. Maybe whoever wins this game maybe helps solidify them, especially in a tough SEC, really helps them make that step to the playoff. So yeah, I'm gonna take the under here in a tight game.
Yeah, I have a play in this game too.
Yeah.
Um, I have LSU. I think you said it ended up being down to a pick 'em.
Mhm.
The line was like 1.5, 2, and then dropping down now to pick 'em. But I like LSU here. Just kind of for all the points that you mentioned, liking the under. This is a game at College Station. You have 100,000 people. It's in prime time. It screams under, and this too is just one of those games where Texas A&M, I feel, always loses these big games at home. They can never kind of come across. I mean, we talked about it during the Notre Dame game back in was it week
I
one,
think it's
wasn't it?
week one. It was.
Week one, same thing, So Notre Dame came out, won that game late, and it was one of those things where we talked about it. I ignored it. I thought it might have been a little bit different for Texas A&M, but at that time it wasn't. Here, I just kind of following that same trend. Um, A&M, their defense will keep them in it for sure. I do think LSU has a little bit. Obviously they have the better offense here to put up points. So if it comes down to late third quarter drive, LSU maybe goes up 10. It's going to be pretty hard for me to see Texas A&M kind of come back. To win the game. So LSU too, one loss against SC week one as well. Probably shouldn't have lost that game. The
Yeah.
way that game kind of ended out. So LSU probably should be undefeated right now. And the thing too is like they kind of picked it up, from that week to playing good football. I think just they have a lot of momentum right now, and I think they can go into College Station. It'd be a tough environment, but I think they come out with the win here.
Yeah, I like it. I won't. If I had the lean, I'd probably go LSU. I like Nussmeier a lot. He's been in these big spots now. They have the offense to do it, to move the ball. And the LSU defense, as we mentioned last week, they're playing good ball right now. Who did LSU have last week? It was a I can't no, why can't I think of it?
Arkansas,
That's who it was. They
they
they they
killed
beat Bray.
Arkansas.
Yeah, they killed them.
Yeah,
That was a great
I think it
win.
was a little bit close, right?
Huh?
For the first half, they kept it close. The
First
third
half
quarter,
still
they just
blew them
yeah,
out. They won by I think almost 3 touchdowns or something like
yeah,
that.
34-10 ended up
Hmm.
being the final score. So
So for 24. Yeah, I mean they held them to 10. There you go, right there. LSU's defense, I think, can keep them in this, and I think with Nussmeier and those weapons of Lacey and those other receivers, they're going to spread the ball out, and yeah, I think they can get the dub here as well. I think that's it for college for us, right? Best bets. That is
yeah,
it. So we'll post that up. You guys can see it right now on our YouTube. Now let's jump to the National Football League. You want to start us off with your recap? Well, actually, we had the same games. Do you want
yeah,
to just say
because
them both? You can say it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
last week, yeah, I mean, we didn't really like that much. A lot of good games, but just nothing that we kind of felt had any value. We both had the over in the London game, 42.5. That one hit. It was pretty nice to wake up at whatever 8 a.m., 9 a.m. and
Mhm.
just see that one hit. So that was nice. And then we also had the Packers -2.5.
Gosh.
Packers won by 2. Kind of just looking back at that game, we probably should have covered. a lot of mistakes on the Packers end that kind of cost the cover here, but it's just how sharp the lines are in the
It's
NFL. So
crazy.
nothing you can do. We'll look to have a better record this week for sure. But 1-1, not bad at all. Overall in the NFL, it's been tough. 5-6-1 on my end. So looking to get over 500 and stay like that for the rest of the season. So
Yeah. Yes, like David said, I had the same games. The London game was kind of wild. I woke up early to get the place and in order at my home. And then I woke up and Patriots were up 10-0 because the Jags were also my survivor pick. Jags scored 20. They scored three straight touchdowns in the second quarter. It was wild. They had a punt return, and then Lawrence, two touchdown drives. So anyway, 1-1. I am at 6-7-1 overall as well. Anything else stood out? We noted a couple things. Another public week, a lot of favorites won, covered, and then Chiefs are still undefeated. Niners kind of look like a little bit of a shell, Super Bowl hangover, a lot of injuries now, and the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins, so something to look out for there. Any other thoughts from last week,
yeah,
NFL?
I mean, like the games that Lion Viking game was really good. Came down to
Really good.
last possession, but overall it's really entertaining game. So good to see because there's
Yeah.
been a couple stinkers of games in the NFL this year. So good to see that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean,
I
trying to
think
think what else, but I think it's the only thing that really like kind of stood out. So
okay. Why don't you start us off in NFL best bets for week 8?
all right, yeah. So NFL Week 8, um, Miami -4 at home against the Cardinals. Um, yeah, I mean, people have seen Miami without Tua these last couple of weeks, and the offense just isn't. They're not right, And Tua's supposed to come back this week. I mean, yeah, he's been out for was it six weeks? I want to say now he went out
Five,
like what,
six
week 2.
weeks at least.
Yeah, he's been out for a little bit, but kind of everything you kind of hear, um, with the team regarding Tua, they're happy to see him back. It seems like the energy in the locker room, is really positive. Just kind of getting Tua back. So yeah, I mean, I kind of like the spot. I think if Miami's gonna get back to playing the way they should, it starts this week. I mean, a little bit of rust on from Tua probably for sure. But I just think overall, like the locker room's gonna play a little bit more motivated this week, knowing that they had like I'm not saying they didn't have a chance to win these last couple of weeks, but just feeling more confident kind of going in. Um, and then on the Cardinal side, they came off Monday Night Football. Probably shouldn't have won that game. Ended up winning it. Like it is what it is. On I guess if you're a Charger fan, but on the
Shoot.
yeah, but it's if you kind of look at the schedule the last couple of weeks, Cardinals go to Green Bay, they get smoked, travel back home, play Monday night, and then they have a short week, have to go back, to the East Coast, to Miami. Usually Miami, a little bit warmer weather. Nothing, crazy this weekend, but it's still warmer weather, for I guess technically a dome team, to go out there and play. So, a lot of travel kind of maybe week 8 kind of takes its toll. So I like Miami here -4 to I think they'll probably win by 6 points, maybe a touchdown here, but I think they have a good effort for sure.
Yeah, I won't be making that play. I have a play in this game, but to talk about, shoot, no momento. Little mic mishap, guys. Sorry about that. Quickly, you can hear me, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing that scares me, and we talked about this, is just Tua the rust. That's why it scares me on this line. That's the only thing that scares me. I just don't know what I'm going to get. Because what I saw previously when they played Buffalo in that Thursday night game, that was not pretty by Tua. It scares me. So I'm going to stay off that. But I do have a play in this game. Like you mentioned the warm weather. I'm going to take the over in this game. We're going to go over 46 in the Miami Arizona game. You mentioned Arizona. They could be tired, come out sluggish. You know what that means? Defense is tired. They're going to give up points. They're going to give up deep shots to Tyreek Hill, Waddle. They're going to spread the ball out more. So Miami could put up the points. And I think Miami's defense is nothing impressive to me. I think Arizona should be able to move the ball on these guys. Arizona's got just about everybody healthy on offense for the most part with Connor, McBride, Harrison, Wilson, Moore. So I don't see why Kyler couldn't be able to move the ball on these guys as well. So I'm gonna take the over here, 46. Good weather, as you mentioned. Yeah, pretty much over 46. That's pretty much my points on that game. Anything else? Any other thoughts on that game?
Yeah, no other thoughts. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I too like the over as well. I think there'll be points in this game. Your Cardinals have a good enough offense, and if Tua kind of plays the way we kind of expect, I think that the total should get there. Even if Tua has a couple turnovers, short field for the Cardinals, like you never
Exactly.
know.
Or Kyler. Kyler just likes to turn the ball over too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the over looks like the play here as well.
One more note. Black Ops 6 came out. I think it comes out this week, so look out for Kyler. He could have a sluggish game. So maybe this is the play Miami -4. Okay. Now let's get serious. Let's go. We're both on this game. Cleveland plus 7.5. Jameis Winston time, baby. Eating W's. They're playing the Ravens at home. Plus 7.5. We like the spot here for Cleveland. We think the quarterback change is going to bring some new energy, build the morale there. They love playing for Jameis, such a positive guy there. And it's a divisional game. And I think this is a game Baltimore may just go into Cleveland and be like, hey, we just want to get out with a win here. They had a great win. Baltimore couldn't have looked probably any better than they did on Monday night against Tampa. I think Cleveland plus 7.5 is the play here. Chubb's back, another week under his belt. If they get Chubb going with that running game, and I think Baltimore's defense is very overrated. I think it's misleading. I don't think the corners are not that good for Baltimore. I think Njoku should have a decent game. Winston will spread it around. And I think with Winston, the way he throws the ball, even if they're down more than 7.5, I think you can get a backdoor here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like this play too. Plus 7.5. I think they keep it within a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's, in these, I mean, not that every injury is like a good injury or what it is, but maybe a little bit of
Mm,
change.
for
And you can tell
sure.
like the Browns they needed a quarterback change. And this is, if there's any guy that's going to come and have the locker room play for him, it's gonna be Jameis. So, last week too, I think he came in for one series. I think he drove him 70 yards, touchdown. They
Scored.
got 2-point conversion. So, Winston, he still has it. And like you said, they're going to play for him here. And then the Ravens came out, really good Monday Night Football game. They just killed the Bucks. So maybe they come out a little bit more. I wouldn't say maybe just going through the motions a little bit more than they probably should. And going to Cleveland, Cleveland can keep this within 7.5 for sure. You might get one of those Lamar games where he's not looking as Lamar-esque, I guess you can say. But yeah, Cleveland plus 7.5. It's I might have to be the play of the week to be honest. I'm tuning into this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think also the crowd's going to be really into this because let's not kid ourselves that there's a lot of cheering when Watson got hurt.
Yeah,
I heard it from the crowd, and then Garrett and Winston were out there, having his back and all that. Whatever, that's another story. But I think the crowd might be motivated too in this game. I think Cleveland might actually have a good home field playing Baltimore, division rival as well, with Deshaun out. I think Cleveland fans were just sick of him. I mean, how could you
yeah,
not be? He didn't do anything. He wasn't good this year. Like, it's just facts. He wasn't. He was not good for the Cleveland at all this year. So I think this is a motivation game as well, and I think they'll have the home crowd behind them. Your next play.
yeah. My next play is not a pretty one, but Titans plus 12 away at Detroit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, no, this seems like one of those games where just nobody wants any piece of the Titans at this point. Um, but I think this is probably a good buy low spot. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Anything over double digits, it's a lot of points
It
for
is.
these teams, no matter who they are. Detroit has a good offense. We saw last week that game, went down to the wire, took out, a lot of energy out of the Lions. So I don't think they'll have that same kind of intensity, playing a team like Tennessee. They might just want to go through the motions, maybe win by 7, 10 points, whatever it might be. But there's that. And then, last couple of weeks, the public, they've been eating, and I took a quick look at like the consensus bet for this game.
Mhm.
95% of the bets are on the Lions here. 95% of the cash, 91% of the tickets, like just a total public game. Like everyone's gonna be on the Lions. And For some reason, I think this week's the week where the public kind of gives it back a little bit. Um, so yeah, a couple of these big spreads, I think you have another one that you kind of like.
Yeah.
That you'll say after this, but I just think it's too many points. Public perceptions like, oh, Lions, like they're gonna kill them. 14, 21 points, whatever it might be. But I think it's a good spot for the Titans. Got to keep it within 12. So yeah, we'll see. And if not, then yeah, just it'd be another tough week. But
Yeah, no, I agree. Titans plus 12 here. It's just basically this play to me is just fade the public, basically. You know what's wild is too? We talk about the Lions. There's a stat I've heard on other pods. So the Vikings, we're recording this on Thursday. Vikings just lost tonight to the Rams. Every team that's played the Lions the previous week, they have lost their next game. I don't know if you know that this season.
oh wow,
Every team who's played the Lions the next game, they have lost. It's wild and it's going on. It continues tonight. I just threw that out there, but that was an interesting stat for you guys. Titans plus 12 though. Mason Rudolph, no Will Levis. Lost Hopkins, yes, but maybe it's motivation. These are still professionals. No weather factor. So I think Titans still have a good defense too. I think maybe they can keep it within the number, and maybe you get a backdoor here. Yeah, I agree. Titans plus 12. I couldn't take Detroit, not in NFL, lane 12. So, all right, we'll shift to mine. Last play, like you mentioned, big spreads. I am taking the Raiders plus 9 against, yes, the undefeated Chiefs. Games in Vegas. I'm going to take the 9 here. Raiders covered last week as well against the Rams. We like it due to the fact that Raiders, for some reason, I don't know why, Raiders play these guys tough. They just do. It's a divisional game. I think Max Crosby might have a better game than people realize. I think Chiefs may go through the motions here. Just getting Hopkins in the mix. I know Andy Reid's a guru, but I think the Raiders keep this tight. They're professionals too, as we mentioned. I think Minshew another week. Now he's the starter. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. Hey, are they going to bench me for O'Connell? That's not happening anymore. Minshew's the guy the rest of the season. So I think that's going to drop a little bit of pressure off Minshew. I think he's going to play a little bit more comfortable. Bowers should have a decent game. And I think they keep it within the number at 9 in Vegas. Your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, you kind of mentioned it too. It's like it's a divisional game. The Raiders always go play the Chiefs. Tough no matter how good or how bad of a team they have. Um, so I mean, this game, plus 9, I think they keep it within 7 points, whatever it might be. They'll play them tough. The Chiefs too. They just came off, a big win against the Niners. Who knows if they go through the motions here, as much, or maybe they're in Vegas too. It's like, oh, maybe they treat this game as a bye week. Like, it's just the Raiders will expect to come in and kind of beat them. So, yeah, I'd watch out for the Raiders here for sure. Same thing. I think the public's going to be all over the Chiefs. I can probably give you the breakdown real quick, but yeah, I mean, like you said too, like Minshew knows he's the man. So maybe it just helps play a little more at ease, kind of get that offense going for the Raiders because for much of the season that offense is had a lot of question marks. They lose Adams too, and even last week you lose Adams. They come out they put a pretty good performance, against the Rams. I think they ended up winning by like what, 5 points. I think I saw that game.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, yeah.
They were down 8, and then the Raiders decided to kick the field goal to cover,
hmm
and instead of like um,
Go for the
uh,
touchdown.
go for the
Yeah.
touchdown and all that. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll kind of look and see what they have in store. But yeah, 88% of the tickets are on the Chiefs, so another game, just big public game. So
Exactly. I think this is the week we mentioned, as we've mentioned throughout this episode, just fading the public here. Chiefs have covered a lot of their games, but they've been the short spreads. The big spreads they haven't covered so far this year. That's another trend I've noticed with the Chiefs. Didn't cover against the Bengals. They were laying 7. Didn't cover against the Chargers. They were laying over a touchdown in that game as well. I just noticed the big spreads. And I've noticed that since like Mahomes has been there too, they don't really cover the big numbers. The close numbers,
historically,
yes, like they will, but over a touchdown, I usually they don't cover the big number more than a touchdown. I've noticed that throughout since Mahomes has been there. I would love to know the stat on that, but for
yeah, I
another
want to
time, it's okay.
say yeah, we'll have to look for next week. But yeah, I know there was I think like the Chiefs over a 10-point favorite, like they're against their ATS number was not good at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
we'll
sure
find
this
out
line will
for a
get up to
different week.
10 too. I'm
Yeah,
sure it will because of all the money just keep coming in, the public money on the Chiefs.
yeah, it's the afternoon game too. So after everyone
Mm,
bets how the the morning games are gonna go, like, oh, I gotta get my money back. Let's go Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs. So
yep.
I think for sure it'll get a 10.
Yeah. And then little quick note, my survivor is still alive at the Jags last week. I'm gonna take the Chargers this week. Yes, I know this is scary. I'm as a Chargers fan, but we're gonna take the Chargers this week against the Saints. We love the matchup. Back in LA, obviously I know it's not a huge home crowd. Going against Spencer Rattler, I yeah, Carr, I'm almost positive is not playing. It's line 7. They're missing. Kamara has a broken hand now, or a fractured hand or something. I think he's going to play, but who knows how healthy he is. I don't think Olave is playing. I don't think Shaheed's playing. It just screams. We just need a win. We don't need to cover anyway. We just need a win. So I'm going to take the Chargers in our survivor. Anything else for college or NFL?
Um,
We got a few minutes.
let's see
You can check us
here.
out at our YouTube channel, Winners Get Money, Twitter and TikTok, Winners Get Money, guys. We really appreciate a like and subscribe.
Yeah, Olave is questionable to
Yeah.
play this weekend, but yeah, I mean NFL, we're already 8 weeks in. You're kind of seeing who's who in the NFL
Yeah.
for sure. Um, what surprises I think the NFL? Would you say probably the Commanders with Jay
Has to
Daniels?
be. Yeah,
Has to
they have
be.
to be the biggest surprise. I mean, everyone in that division, NFC East, is just they look like such a better team than everyone else. Maybe the Eagles know, but have they played each other yet? Washington and Philly?
Yeah, I want to say it. Let me double check. I think it was Eagles football. Let me take a look.
Also, while you're looking, I'll say the NFC South now. With the injuries to Evans and Godwin, that NFC South opened up so much for Atlanta to win. I think it
Yeah,
opened up a lot. That was the game we were talking about too. I did have a lean to Atlanta just because of the injuries to Evans and Godwin. I know it's super public probably, but just look out for that one as well. But we were gonna say,
yeah. Eagles. Yeah, they haven't played yet. They're gonna play November 14th, and
so
then they
Daniel.
play again in December. So yeah, they
Okay,
don't play
cool.
him for a little bit, and
Good.
hopefully, Daniels is back for those games too, because it kind of sucks this week. You're supposed to have Daniels against Caleb
The Bears.
Williams.
Yeah.
So I think honestly they flexed that to the afternoon game for that
They
matchup.
did. They
And
did.
then he goes down. Now you get Mariota, um,
Yeah. He
but
looked
yeah,
good
I mean,
last week though.
yeah, kind of from what we saw, I think we are talking about it too a little bit. This probably was one of our leans. Was to Washington here.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, Mariota looked good. I think it was like 10-0, maybe 17-0 when Daniels got hurt, and then Mariota was just you know throwing it around
Yeah.
and dive and all
Carolina
that.
looks
So
awful.
yeah,
They
that
look
too.
so bad.
Yeah, maybe watch Carolina this week. And another big spread. And
Bryce Young starting.
Bryce Young's
Hmm.
back.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy. I think that's just about it that we covered. We got Yankees, Dodgers starting tomorrow on Friday. World Series game 1.
did you see that the schedule for like Los Angeles sports?
Uh-uh.
SC plays tomorrow against I can't remember who they play,
Mm.
but they're at the Coliseum. Obviously the Dodger game. I think there's Lakers basketball tomorrow in LA too at Staples
Oh
Center.
wow. It's gonna be
And
wild.
then like SoFi has like the East LA Classic for like high school football. So there's just like sports all around that city tomorrow. So
Wow.
um yeah,
Speaking of basketball, look out for us too. We'll talk some college basketball this year. It's almost starting up. A few more weeks, I think. Should be
yeah,
close. It's only a couple more weeks, I think.
yeah. I
And
think
then
beginning of November you start seeing a couple,
yeah.
games kind of go through. But yeah,
Love those.
we'll for sure add that in to the podcast this
Yeah.
year. We didn't really do it last year, but if you kind of noticed like we like college a lot,
Yeah.
with basketball,
Yeah.
football. So yeah, for sure watch out for that. 'Cause we'll probably have some plays for that too. Going leading all the way up to March Madness. So
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to college basketball. I love those random tournaments at the beginning of the season. It's changed so much too since we were younger, where now everyone plays each other in the beginning too. No one's just playing the simple schools anymore. Everyone's playing each other in the beginning of the season. It's nice. I love it. I like
yeah, but
watching it.
I can't wait to see the John Ross theme. The
Give that guy a follow.
epitome of brutality when these lose these buy games they're not supposed to. But
Such a great follow on Twitter. He really is. Alrighty, I think we can call it. That was episode number 7, guys. Winners get money again. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Follow us there for all our picks, and check out our Twitter channel mainly for any tweets we might, or maybe some last minute plays we might do besides the ones on this episode. All right, guys, take it easy, win some money.